When I see Uluru, I feel as though I'm home. And that home is a comfortable, secure, relaxed feeling, mentally, spiritually, psychically, as well as physically. You know, and I know I'm home. Ngorangaya here, this is my big home and I belong here. My name is Bob Randall, and I'm an Uncle man from Uluru. My culture been around maybe 40,000 years. We're probably the oldest culture in the world. When Caesar and Christ was walking the earth, we were living here, living in the moment. When Cleopatra was ruling on her throne, we were living here, living in the moment. For thousands of years, these things you think ancient, we were living here, living in the moment. Us mob, we're from the desert. It's really hot where we come from, really hot and really beautiful. This is the country I grew up in. Everything you can see is my family. It's all a bush as far as you can see, but to me, it was my home, my ngora. I was born in the bush. I was a bush baby. I had no clothes, no more than my parents had clothes. We all walked around in our natural state, same as the trees, the kangaroo and the emu. We used to walk right throughout this country. As a child, our mothers would walk with us and feed us, give us water, nourished us, and at night make the shelters for us to sleep on. And we always slept on Mother Earth.
Manda nyango ngana bangonjo ngana na baloro ngoro idingarinja kono balo ngana na nyabanya Kanyini kukanga mainga mono kabinga.
Our life quite often was really disciplined. We were trained to look after the ceremonies, the land, and each other. That was important to our people. We had this discipline in place of not to take more than you need or not to destroy anything that's there, to the level where it cannot produce again. To Uncle, the purpose of life is to be part of all that there is. Everything living is family. The trees are our family, same with the kangaroos, emus, and all the other animals that live with us. Growing up with the oldies, our parents, grandparents, they always said we are connected to everything else, and the proof of that is being alive. Being alive connects you to every other living thing that's around you. Your spirit, your psychic, your physical, your mental, you're all connected with other living forms. You're never lost and you're never ever alone. You're one with everything else that there is there. The oneness, the completeness of the oneness. My people have always been part of the earth. Every single inch of this land and its waterways is sacred land. What I remember most about those times is the non-restrictive natures, psychically, mentally, spiritually, or physically. The openness was there for me. I was totally free, and the choices was always mine, as it was with all the other members of my family. As we walked over country, we didn't worry about permanency of shelter because we were alive. We were alive. We wasn't dead. You don't need a house when you're alive. You can move and you can leave it behind, and you don't pen yourself into one, imprison you into one little box. That openness of having no access to a building which is mine, that mine is. Ours was a life of an ourness, and everything is ours. No one is without in that way of thinking and living, and that's the way we were raised. To my culture, always has been, everything is already created in a perfect state. So become part of it. Living in the bush gives you a confidence of life that you can never be trained into because it's so much a natural part of you. You're communicating with everything, the wind, the trees, the flowers, the grass, and every action is an action of beauty and an awareness and like, hello, how are you today? It's that niceness, that connection that makes you feel so good. We were once so proud, so big, so responsible. We were so big with our caring and sharing. It was our way of life. Then everything changed. We changed. we started to shrink. We were taken from here, taken from our families, taken from our families I'm talking about. Look, these trees and the animals and reptiles and birds that live here were taken away from all of them. Everything changed. Everything changed. The government took away Kanyini, which is the connectedness from me to four concepts. Tjilpi, which is my belief system, my Gurunpa, which is my spirituality, my land, which is my Ngura, and my family, which is my Walcha. I've got to connect with each of these four lines to be whole. You take away my Kanyini, my connectedness, my life, my essence of all I'm here for, all my purpose. You take that away and I'm nothing. I'm dead. I'm nothing. I'm a living dead. I'm a corpse in space. I become nothing. And that's what the government did. It took away that Kanyini. Once forced to live without that, this is where the dependency come in and you'll die. You can almost say the time of death is the moment you accept that. It's suicide. You can see how the disconnectedness happened when you look at it in turn. The moment you introduce your religion from outside, you purposely went about undermining mine. You classified me as a savage, uncivilized, not worth even having around. You classified me as an animal that could be shot. And it wasn't wrong to kill me when you first arrived. You made it seem it was the right thing to do. You didn't see it was your own greed that was pushing you to make right wrong. The rightness was for you to come and learn with me why the trees were the way they were, why the rivers were clean and running, overloaded with all the food you needed. It was there. Now, the belief system that kept that was my line with my Tjilpi, because I believed through my Tjilpi that everything is one. Everything is connected. But you soon cut me away from that when you started to say your religion was better than mine. Your belief system was better than mine. So you bump, bump. I was left with 3 out of 4. And then you said, I want this land. You didn't say, who owns this land? You didn't bother to find out that land was already taken. They were there, the real owners were already there in front of your people. They were already there. But you didn't say, I'll negotiate to share this country. Terra nullius was the term you used. You used that to give you the right to take what wasn't yours. What was the kind of thinking then? You tell me that. But from me today, I'm saying it was not the right one. It was so wrong. Because that was the second snip. You separated me from my land. Number 2 responsibility, or Kanyini, is being cut. So I got 2 left anyway. I got Walcha yet, I got my family. I'm still with my family. We're kind of starving together because our land's been taken and we weren't allowed to hunt anymore because someone had put fences around our hunting places. And they were starting to kill our mob for the so-called trespassing on my own land. You got to be joking. But you called it that. But you started to apply your law from over there. That killing time, it was painful. That's what we call it. The first killing came to the trees on the foreshores. Then the white man brought in their horses, their cattle. With the introduction of these new things coming into our land, it disturbed the naturalness of that time. Our native species stayed away from where they would normally go to drink. But our hunting skills was developed from them coming to a regular feeding place, regular drinking place, which made it easy for us to live off those animals. Once we realised that it was easier to get the introduced species, our people went that way, just to survive. From that period, we supposedly was breaking the law. But to us, it wasn't breaking the law, it was taking from my land what was rightfully mine. Then came the murder. Our mothers, grandmothers, daughters, murdered and raped. So many men fought, so many men died. Many elders, many men lost. Instantly, thousands of years of wisdom gone. Customs, our laws, forbidden and forgotten. We had to live in your world, broken. All our food sources were gone, our emus and kangaroos driven from our country. So we took from the farmers their sheep, their goats, their cattle, and for that we were slaughtered. The wrongness against the rightness of the way of my people lived. On our own land, remember. You have to accept the emotions that come out. It could be anger, it could be sadness, but that's the way it is. The killing time still affects our people. Just in my country alone, where the Bindara, Yankunytjatjara, Mutitjulu people live in Central Australia, there are so many sites where my people have been massacred by yours. Don't you think our people have minds and mouths to remember and to pass on to each of us who come after them? They've taken me to the sites where the massacres. They've showed me the bullet marks. They've pointed out the areas. My family was massacred. Why? For what? You didn't understand the oursness. It could have been ours together. You started to go, mineness. And then all of a sudden you look at us and you say, some of those kids got white fathers. Oh, that's bad for our species as white, pure people. We can't have this contamination come in. And you said, let's make that a criminal offence. We'll set up institutions and take these half-caste kids away and make them white, because we've broken their connectedness to their belief system. We've taken their land. Let's make them like us. You stole the children away from their parents. You've cut my family, my vulture. At Angersdown Station, Constable Bill McKinnon came in, saw me with my family. And as my aunties say, uncles say, my Jammos grandparents say, this is where he stole you from. We were just sitting there all together. And where I was taken up? To Arnhem Land, the north of the continent, not that far from New Guinea. They certainly meant, when they wanted to take me away, as far as they could from my family. And for what reason? We still don't know that. For what reason? All our mothers, crying for their children as the sun went down, day after day after day, not knowing where the children were. And us children in an institution so far away, not knowing if our mothers knew where we were. No letters, no phone calls. That was the way it was. All I walked away with was the fear you created in me, which developed into the loneliness that stayed with me. The many nights and days and weeks and months and years of that loneliness. One has difficulty just expressing the enormity of that experience of not having your mothers with you, your fathers with you, your brothers and sisters around you. Total absence of family members was a trauma I wouldn't wish on anybody. Just put yourself in my position. If you was taken away from your parents the same way I was and so many others like me, how would you feel? I mean, look what I've got left. Out of 4, I've got 1 left. I've got a spirituality. My chukup is gone, my belief system. My land is gone, my walch, my ngura. And now my walch is gone. You put me in an institution with a new spirit teaching. Korunpa is the next one in line of fire, with your big razor blade sitting there ready. Snip, snip. You learn this thing about this Jesus thing. But hang on. Why did you do those other things to me? Because this Jesus isn't saying what you're doing. In fact, he's saying you shouldn't do that. Now I can read. I can read. I'm reading this book you're reading from when you stand in the pulpit. And you're teaching me these brilliant things which I have to know to make me strong with my spirituality, with my korunpa. Okay, I'm reading it and I'm saying, hey, Jesus said, love one another. But that's what we did all the time. The white people took me away from that. Jesus said, have compassion. I had that too. But you imprisoned me for that. I'm in your institution, being taught from you about a spirituality, about a kurunpa, which is in conflict with the way you're living and what you're doing. We call that rama rama, madness. You saying one thing and doing another. And another thing that I picked up too, in what you was teaching me, this is your words. Thou shalt not kill. You think I'm silly? The oldest culture that was living in harmony with all things, pushed to extinction.
Can you tell me when?
We weren't starving hungry. We weren't covered with sauce. Living out there in the bush. I could picture some of my old people, you know, before they wore clothes, and they look as well as anyone in the street without their clothes on. The wrong they had was they didn't wear clothes. Which, how ridiculous can you get? In the naturalness and the beauty of the naturalness, they were really from what I can see, they were looking really well. Their spirit looked good, they physically looked good. They were beautiful people because they lived in a beautiful way. In our way, Anangu traditional way, all that is around you that you're walking on, the air you're breathing, the water you're drinking, is yours, and that confidence is an automatic part of you. You grow so big and strong because you're walking with all the other big things and strong things together. There's no weakness in that. That confidence is a reality. You feel it, you think it, you walk it. Today, it's a different story. Obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney ailments, and early death unnecessarily. Our children are crippled by sicknesses that you haven't seen since 1910. Our classrooms are empty. Our jails are full. Suicide is a reality from the poverty-stricken, hopeless situation we're in. So something's not working right. Something's not working right. Surely we're not Rama, surely we should be able to see this. I'm floating with nothing, but you throw me a line called welfare. And even though you think it's good, it is never and isn't as good as what I had. Most white people probably don't know. We're living here at a little community called Mutitjulu, right beside Uluru, and that's what its proper name is. We've always been here. My people lived here for many thousands of years. That's what brings me back here. This is where my parents came from. We lived here, proud owners, keepers of our country. We had to keep the land in its natural state, the perfect state it was created to be. When an Anangu talks of home, it's not a house, it's ngura. Ngura is where I am at home, wherever I am. The ceiling is the stars at night. Your boundary is as far as you want to see on the horizon. And that's how you are as an Anangu person. You feel that. I've always felt that on my land. That's why I know everything that is there with me is my family. Today, a lot of the old laws are contaminated just for us to survive. The chaos and sadness we are feeling now is the result of our history. We see the inequality of those who are here in the same region, but those of us who live at Mutitjulu on the eastern side of Uluru seem to have nothing. Just travel over the other side, the sunset side, and those people seem to be having everything. The contrast is vivid, it's real, and you can see it any time. Just come and visit us and see for yourself. We feel bad when we look and we see, or seem to see and interpret, that white people got everything and we got nothing. Such a deep depression that is overpowering our communities. We are totally dependent on a system that don't give a damn. Disadvantaged at everything you can imagine. What you got to remember, everything we had of our culture and the way we lived has been taken away. And the government said, hey, you mob, let us look after you. They promised us that, but they haven't kept their promise. And now we're stuck between two cultures, stuck between the two worlds. We can't go back to the old ways because the natural environment has been destroyed. Nothing's there in its natural state that was when I was a child, when my Kanyini meant something. We can't get into your system because many of us don't understand it. We watch the television in a language that isn't ours. We see rich white people drinking Coke and looking happy. We're trying that. We have difficulty understanding what's inside your home, like electricity. Hardly anyone has the skills to operate in your world. They don't have the reading skills or education and understanding of your culture and your ways. So much money has been spent on an education system that isn't working. And look at the period of time and the amounts of money that's been spent. Anyone who's doing even the smallest of business would see it as a failure. So why is it being funded year after year? It must change to make the difference. So my mob can be able to feel the confidence because their English is articulate enough to understand the questions that'll be thrown at them when they're being interviewed, be able to write application for the job that's being advertised, and being able to read the jobs that's being advertised. At the moment, zilch, it's a big zero. When I went home this time, I went home to build my homeland on my land. I sat in on a meeting and there was paper being circulated on this desk by the community advisor. My brother sitting next to me had it upside down. He was looking at it. And I thought he was reading it. Then I said, then I turned it around And I said, you know how to read this? He said, no. I said, what about that mob? He said, no, none of us can read this one. I said, well, how you know how you're going to make? She said, we try and listen to the answer she wants us to say, and then we agree with that, but we really don't know. So that's where we are. We're totally confused, and we got no hope of getting out of this confusion. If you were suddenly taken to where I am, you'd be just as confused with our system and how to survive in that system. What we should consider is a new way of teaching that incorporates the old way and the new ways. We need a way my mob can feel proud of who they are, themselves, and proud of their culture, and proud of their love for the land. Start building up the dignity, building up the responsibility. Strengthen the line one straight at a time. Let them believe in their system that it wasn't as bad as you said it was, that it was a good system. I don't blame any kid for wanting to get out of this with hunger and boredom, loneliness and pain. I too sniffed petrol when I was in that place. What we had before, we had this feeling of equality with all that there was. We've now become the 20th class citizens. We're treated worse now than your criminals. What did I do wrong? I was just born black. Our black history has got wounds that are so deep that even us modern people today are feeling it. Your loss is our loss. Our loss is your loss. We both have these scars and we need to heal together. Listen and understand. And let's try and make things right from now on. What we need to do is go back and say, this is where we went wrong. These things did happen. We shouldn't deny it anymore. It goes with that old saying, the truth will set us free, not the hidden truth, but the open truth. As the concepts were damaged and the responsibility taken away, we need to now strengthen those from me with my responsibility, my Kanyini, strengthen it. And connecting with my family, connecting with my land, and you can come with me. We can do it together. Strengthening with my belief system and strengthening with my spirituality. Because really, when you go down to it, it's our right, yours and mine, as being born human, to have the sense of belonging, which carries the responsibility, which we call Kanyini. White people need to understand our system by coming and learning from us, so that we get a two-way learning and living together in action. Thousands of years of teaching, you can learn and we can share. For us, Mob, we need to apply discipline to the way we need to learn your English language, your numbers, so that we can understand the system and use it for our benefit. We have one mother, this land we're living on, and taking everything from her is our mother. You and me, that makes us brothers and sisters. This land is your mother now. Defend it. Look after it. My people didn't die for nothing. You mustn't let them die for nothing.